In Pakistan, as usual, they're trying to screw over Imran Khan. They ousted him just a few months ago, and now, even though they've removed him from power, they're still going after him because he's so popular in the country. It's outrageous. It's ridiculous. I've shown you some videos of his rallies. I don't know anyone anywhere who is that popular, especially as a politician. But now look what they're trying to do to him. So they're filing terrorism charges against him. Can you believe that? This guy was the prime minister a few months ago, and now he's being charged with terrorism in his own country. It's really outrageous. This is from AP. They're saying the charges followed a speech that Khan gave in Islamabad in which he vowed to sue police officers and a female judge and alleged that a close aide had been tortured after his arrest. This is what they're afraid of. They are afraid of him being able to return to politics someday. And keep in mind, they're going to have elections soon, but whether it's in the next election or the one after, they're really afraid of him coming back to politics because if there was an election today, he would win. That's it. And they don't want that. Even when they removed him, it was just a bunch of people switching to the opposition and giving them the votes that they needed. It's a bunch of, cardboard politicians that no one even knows, and they just removed him from power like that. It wasn't because the people actually wanted him removed. Anyway, regardless, that's one thing, but the popular support he has, they want to make sure he can't return. And if he's actually convicted on these charges, he would be barred from politics. Okay, so that's really what's going on here. And you have to understand something. In Pakistan, the way things go, you need the support of the military, right? It's like Egypt, okay? You need the support. If you're a politician and you want to survive, you need the support of the military because the military is its own thing. They were angry at him because they had this argument over who will be the new spy chief in Pakistan. And remember, the intelligence services in Pakistan, very powerful, very important. And on top of that, you remember the day that the war in Ukraine started, Imran Khan, where was he? He was in Moscow. I think I showed you that clip where he said that he had no clue a war was about to start. But nevertheless, he went ahead and purchased, what was it, 200,000 tons of gas and wheat. The quantity is irrelevant here, but the fact of the matter is he went out, he shook hands with Putin, they did the photo op, and then he bought resources. He bought resources for his people, for his country. And he dealt with Russia. And this is very bad because the mentality from the West is you need to sanction Russia. You shouldn't do any business or trade with Russia because we want to isolate them, right? And when you go against that, well, okay, you're a threat to us and we don't like you. He didn't do anything wrong. He just angered the wrong people. He's just taking care of his population in Pakistan, and they punished him for it. Khan says it himself that the Americans personally got involved to remove him from office. And this guy, remember, he's very popular in cricket. He used to be a cricket player, and then he went to politics, and now he's even more popular. And this guy is not going to come out and risk his reputation and everything by saying, by accusing the United States of America of plotting against him unless he has ironclad evidence. And keep in mind, another thing that he did, he started criticizing the war on terror, right? Because he said, we helped the Americans this whole time. Remember, Pakistan borders Afghanistan, Peshawar, the Khyber Pass. It's all connected. You cannot deal with Afghanistan, especially in this matter, without dealing with Pakistan. And so he's saying we helped the Americans this whole time, and they did nothing but kill us. Right? You have thousands of Pakistanis killed by the Americans. Drone strikes, air strikes, whatever it is. It's something that he was very critical of, the war on terror. And this is, of course, coming at a time where, the Americans just left Afghanistan, really humiliated. Taliban took over immediately. like as if they were never there. But of course, they can't have someone like this in power. Remember, another thing, he supports the Palestinians, right? He criticizes Israel. That's also on the no list. You can't do that. I want to show you some of the rallies. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look at these rallies. This is from 20th of August. So, just last week. Look at the scores of people. Those are people coming out in support of him. Do you understand? Not against him. They're with him. Innumerable amounts of people. So, of course, that's what happens. You have people that start manipulating the judiciary against you and trying to get you convicted so you don't come back because you're too popular. And we can't have that if you come back. We want to get rid of you for good. So let me go back very quickly to this article from AP. So they say under Pakistan's legal system, police file what is known as a first information report about charges against an accused person to a magistrate judge who allows the investigation to move forward. Typically, police then arrest and question the accused. The report against Khan includes testimony from magistrate judge Ali Javed, who described being at the Islamabad rally on Saturday and hearing Khan criticize the Inspector General of Pakistan's police and another judge. Khan went on to reportedly say, quote, "You also get ready for it. We will also take action against you. All of you must be ashamed," unquote. Khan could face several years in prison for the new charges, which accuse him of threatening police officers and the judge under Pakistan's 1997 anti-terrorism law, which granted police wider powers amid sectarian violence in the country. However, 25 years later, critics say the law helps security forces skirt constitutional protections for defendants, while governments also used it for political purposes. There you go. Other former Pakistani politicians, including former PM Nawaz Sharif and former President Pervez Musharraf, also have been targeted in probes using the law. Also on Monday, a court in Islamabad ruled that contempt proceedings would begin Tuesday against Khan for threatening a judge, according to court officials. Usually, Pakistani courts pardon people if they apologize, although some politicians have also been convicted in the past for insulting judges. The Pakistani judiciary also has a history of politicization and taking sides in power struggles between the military, the civilian government, and opposition politicians, according to the Washington-based advocacy group Freedom House. Current PM Shahbaz Sharif likely will discuss the charges against Khan at a cabinet meeting scheduled for Tuesday. Now keep in mind, Shahbaz Sharif, we saw that name just now. Scroll up. We see Nawaz Sharif. Yes, you're right, they're related. And here they say Khan came to power in 2018 promising to break the pattern of family rule in Pakistan. That's exactly the point that I just made. You see what I'm saying? Nawaz Sharif, Shahbaz Sharif, that's what's going on. Family rule in Pakistan. His opponents contend that he was elected with help from the powerful military, which has ruled the country for half of its 75-year history. And again, they say here that in seeking Khan's ouster earlier this year, the opposition had accused him of economic mismanagement as inflation soars and the Pakistani rupee, that's their currency, plummets in value. The parliament's no-confidence vote in April that ousted Khan capped months of political turmoil and a constitutional crisis that required the Supreme Court to step in. Meanwhile, it appeared the military similarly had cooled to Khan. So they say what I just told you, that Khan said it was a coup backed by Washington. And then in his latest speech on Sunday, in Rawalpindi, which is outside of Islamabad, Khan said that so-called neutrals were behind the recent crackdown against his party. His party is PTI, right? PTI. He has in the past used the phrase neutrals to describe the military. It's funny because they talked about, inflation and soaring prices. And I remember, I think we read this together, or it was a video. You had someone in Pakistan saying that, yes, the prices are higher, but I still support him because he's the best choice for the country. I'm not saying the guy's perfect, but I can tell you that this guy's popular, right? And why is this important? Because, Pakistan is supposed to be democracy, and in the West, they go and they get rid of people in the name of democracy. What does that mean? That means you're supposed to elect somebody because that's the will of the majority. And I can tell you, man, without a shadow of a doubt, this guy has majority support in Pakistan. And I don't say just in Pakistan, I'm saying worldwide. I know very few people, and perhaps you can, if anyone comes to mind, please let me know in the comments. How many politicians do you know worldwide that can whip up crowds like that? Who is going to, seriously, let me just go back to this video. Who the hell is going to come out like this to see Boris Johnson or Liz Truss? Nobody. This is nothing, by the way, huh? I've showed you other videos before. It's just that these are the most recent results. Man, the rallies that he's whipping up, unbelievable. You think anyone's going to come out like that for Emmanuel Macron? Not even close. Man, this guy is causing traffic jams, literally. Anyway, I think the fact that they've used this so-called, anti-terrorism law from 1997 against other politicians, you can really get a sense that it's really just a political tool. It's not actually about fighting terrorism, although I have no doubt that Pakistan has certainly used it to those ends. 97. That's 2 years after the Egyptian embassy in Islamabad was blown up right next to my school. It's 2 years after that they passed that. And again, that was done by Zawahiri, who the Americans killed recently, right? So he blew up the Egyptian embassy in Pakistan. And if I'm not mistaken, who was in power at that time? I think it was Sharif, no? You see, I'm getting my Sharifs confused because, again, you have this dynasty, as Khan called it, family rule politics in Pakistan. In any case, it's a gorgeous, beautiful country, and an amazing people, and we'll see what happens to Khan. They're trying to get rid of him permanently. You understand? Because if you convict someone with those terrorism laws, and again, to say that he's a terrorist, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Even he doesn't say that about his critics or about the people that he criticizes, right? Even he doesn't say that. He says, yeah, they're corrupt. Yeah, they're this and that. He doesn't call them terrorists. That's just ridiculous. That is absurd, honestly. This is very, very, very important. When Imran Khan was giving a speech just the other day, this was on Sunday, do you know they actually took down the internet in Pakistan so people could not watch his speech? And it's even in the AP article, right? So internet access advocacy group NetBlocks said that internet services in Pakistan blocked access to YouTube after Imran Khan broadcast the speech on the platform, despite a ban issued by the Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority. How popular do you have to be to start getting banned like that, man? Unbelievable. So that's another important thing I wanted to tell you, that they were taking down the internet and taking down YouTube to block his speech. That is really something. Here, this is from Reuters, right? August 22nd. As we were just saying, the regulator banned Khan's speeches, right? And they say that his speeches contain, quote-unquote, hate speech against state institutions. Unreal. I like what he said on Twitter, where he said the imported government. Imported. So brought from outside the country. Imported government blocked YouTube midway through my speech. That is incredible. So here, the PEMRA said that his speeches, this is the regulator, right? So the regulator says that Khan's speeches were prejudicial to the maintenance of law and order and likely to disturb public peace and tranquility. So basically what they did is they ended up banning live broadcasts of his speeches by news channels, but they made an exception for recorded speech. So basically, Imran Khan, you're not allowed to broadcast anything that he's saying live. Neither is he. No one is allowed to. But if it's recorded, then it's okay. I like this next sentence. Say, soon after Saturday's television ban, Khan's party vowed to go live on 500 plus YouTube and Facebook channels. Khan said that he was being censored for not accepting the current coalition government, which had voted him out of power. Well, that's true. They are literally censoring him. That's it. It's not. I don't see it as something that he is saying. It's really a statement of fact. In any case, I just want to show you what's happening in Pakistan, because it's very important. Very, very, very important. And, as always, you can see how these state institutions, they're penetrated, infiltrated by the West, and then they get rid of people they don't like. And of course, you can't say, oh, it's just the United States, because in Pakistan itself, you have very, very important entities and actors. And, if you anger the wrong people, they get rid of you, even though he didn't anger his people. And most people in Pakistan most certainly support Imran Khan. And even in London, even overseas, he is whipping up crowds, just so you understand how popular he is. This is all an attempt to bar him from politics in the future. That's all it is.